Okay, welcome folks. This is going to be the start of a really exciting multiplayer game of Shadow Empire, a game which will be coming out in about a month and a half by the time we sort of start uploading this, I guess. And I'm here with Tortuga Power. Welcome, Tortuga.
Welcome, Das. Are you excited?
So, yeah, this is great. Actually, really been looking forward to this. And we've been trying to sort of think, how can we reasonably fast as well? So we've flipped the coin and Tortuga won. So he's actually going to be the person that generating the actual game itself. And he'll also be the player one, so I'll be player two.
Mm-hmm.
So what we decided, maybe you can explain a little bit about what our thought process was.
Yeah, well, we wanted a game which, not knowing how multiplayer works, we wanted to have an end in sight so that this didn't go on for, some hundreds of turns, especially because, it may take a little bit longer with the turns being sent back and forth by email. So we decided to do just us two versus a major, and the start that lends itself to that is the moon. So we're going to be doing a moon start, and I guess the victory, we won't actually get to a victory screen, will we? Since we'll have to actually probably fight each other for that, but that's not planned for this.
I think we can. I think what we can, I think you can set yourself up in a victory alliance. I think I've never got to that point with the AI, but I did read about it that you actually can end up being on the same side as one AI that's going to get a victory. So I'm not sure. That's a big unknown as to what happens with the diplomacy.
That's perfect. If that's true, that's perfect. Vic has thought of everything. I shouldn't have doubted him for a moment. So,
well, I don't know. That's all a big question mark. In fact, just to put that into context, we've been in contact with Vic, the developer, as well, and this is his first real acid test of the multiplayer system as well. So
what could possibly go wrong?
Fingers crossed, everyone. Fingers crossed.
Exactly. So I'll go ahead and pick the moon, and we can start. We've got a lot of settings to go through before we get to planet generation. Go ahead.
Yeah. For people who haven't seen this game as well, the planet generation is unbelievable. So we'll spend a bit of time going through it. Unfortunately, you don't really get a feel for it with playing as a moon. You do with some of the other sort of planet types, but should we maybe just quickly generate maybe a Siwa class and actually just show what happens like when that really does sort of set itself up?
I don't know how to restart, so I could go back to the start menu. Yeah, so Siwa, by the way, that's the most Earth-like planet type.
Yeah. It's the only one that really get a breathable atmosphere, isn't it?
And farming, and well, it could be all kinds of good things. So.
And so looking at this one, like with Tortuga and I have been sort of playing around a little bit with it, just sort of sharing screens and things. So about a week ago, I think we were having a bit of a look at this. Mm-hmm. And the gravity always stays reasonably low. But from what I've sort of seen as well, once you get over about 0.25 gravity thereabouts, you get a thin atmosphere, which is usually breathable. And if the gravity is too low, you can end up with it being too thin. But like 0.26 would be good, and 17 degrees Celsius would be good.
Yeah, that's
good. So that gives us something that's should be very breathable. It's so it's really quite cool.
So this will be probably mountainous or maybe even volcanically active.
Yeah. With a planetary age, and also you got the tilt there as well, which then impacts what happens with deserts and what happens with you got polar caps, which essentially are going to be if they're in night for 6 months of the year, they're not going to actually then grow things as well. So it's actually really fascinating the way it sort of does work.
Yeah. Well, if we were to choose this, let's see what it would give us.
So the planetology sort of sets the actual planetary body up. Actually, this would be fairly interesting. They've got this. Then it does the geology.
Yeah.
And shows the
oh my gosh.
there we go. You can see all the water masses that are there, and then those numbers that you're seeing there are the hydrology it's basically what's going to happen with the rainfall. So you can see there with all those volcanoes on the right hand side, they're all basically going to be the water can't reach there. That's sort of like in the middle of the continent. So that would end up being a big desert, or it could be a grass plain. Mm-hmm. So they're all active volcanoes, as Tortuga said. There is actually active volcanoes through there. But the planet generation is just phenomenal in this game, just incredible.
Yeah.
So that one, you got a lot of oceans in that one, and not very many mountains, which is good.
Sorry, I just sped on through.
No, that's okay. No, we've got to get through this again.
Yeah, eventually.
And then so we could re-roll that. It's imperfect for the atmospheric human hazard. So until we get sort of like none, 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 which means that, oh, there we go. Toxic. No life at all.
Archon. I didn't even know that Archon's part of the Earth's atmosphere. So.
Yeah, I don't know what the percentage is, though. Oh, here we go. No, it's still imperfect. Now...
Just getting unlucky. Maybe it's because this planet's too early? I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? There's not enough oxygen. I think we've got to get, over 6% oxygen or 8% oxygen or something?
Well, 10% should do it.
It's still perfect.
This looks perfect, too. 90% nitrogen, oxygen. I mean, this feels Earthish to me.
Yeah. And you'll notice that every time Tortuga's actually clicking the button, it's actually generating on the same planet. It's just generating a completely new biosphere.
Yeah.
Each time we do it, so with jungles and forests and once again, there's those volcanoes. There's the big deserts that we sort of were talking about. So it's really fascinating. And so in this case, the atmospheric human hazard, they may need to wear filters, for example, just to be able to sort of work on the planet. The alien tissue nutrition has got zero value, and so that would be a bit of an issue. And now we go through the colonization. So at this stage, we've got it set up ready for our.
Oh, that's right. So this is the So we can't see anything now because we're doing the shrouded start.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe we just click on that restart button, and we'll just get straight back into the game, and we can then talk a little bit about because we're going to go through the same process here. Did you want to start talking about the generation settings?
Sure, yeah, I'll just run through these. We'll be doing the detail plan generation. That's what we already just showed, how you can get into every little phase of the planet development. And the shrouding, as we mentioned, this is one of the options we chose, is to do Fog of War, complete after colonization. So we will be able to know what the planet looked like, but we'll have no idea where we're starting on the planet or where the different cities might be. So Das and I won't have any idea how to get to each other. We'll have no idea. Number of players 2, I think this speaks for itself. We'll use this option, which should help. Only one city start. I guess this is specific to moons because you can actually choose other zones, additional zones to start with, not on a moon. But the moon is pretty small.
Different planet types as well. You've got you can get up to 4 players as well. So I should just point that out. Like we're particularly playing the moon so that we actually have to have like a really compressed start. But if you play, I think Planetoid is also 2-player with a little bit more space, and then the other planets are all about 4 players, I think. Except for Unclassified, because that could be anything. That's also only 2 players. That could be still being a very, very large planet with only a 2-player start.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah, that would also be a fun one if we were to do another one, just to do an Unclassified.
They're big worlds, though. That's the trouble. Like they can range from anything to anything.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it would take a lot of restarts to get something feasible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although you would be able to keep on re-rolling until you've got the small size, because that's on that first screen.
Okay, then that's more doable. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we won't be using story modules. We'll start nice and early on the tech tree. This is something we did talk about for a bit. Maybe going to a higher tech level, or maybe using less armies. The balancing we went with here was mostly really with DAS's experience, I would say, that not expanding too quickly, that there will be... Is it exactly 1 miner? We know it's exactly 1 miner?
It's 1 or 2. In the experiments I've come across, it's about 50-50 whether you're going to get 1 or 2 miners. And so hopefully, fingers crossed, we get a miner each that we can then take over.
I see. Yeah, so if we did 2 armies, or if we did 1 army on tech level 4, it'd be a little bit too easy to expand and to take over that miner. So this will present at least a small hurdle.
A little bit of one, yeah. It's because the miners just use militia forces, and the militia forces really can't cut it when you start to get real armies, and particularly as you're up your tech levels. So at tech level 5, you can actually start a game, and like on a moon, because I've experimented with. If you go to tech level 5 with 2 armies per zone, you can basically take out all of the miners in the first turn.
Oh my gosh.
So you can really rush it, which of course is not all that good.
Yeah, well, there's no climax. So.
No. You can actually do it with 1 unit per city.
Gosh.
It's that ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a bit much. And otherwise, we're choosing normal. We want to basically try to keep this game manageable, something that we can finish. So we're doing normal development speed. Actually, Das has kind of turned me on to doing slower after talking about it. I'll probably be doing that. I've only done normal myself. So I might do that for one of my single player stuff, but only.
Initially, I was worried about going slower, but then when I saw how fast the AI was developing in some of the games that I've been playing, I thought, oh, geez, actually, they're actually thumping through it. And slower for me actually is probably more now my speed. I quite like it.
Yeah, for me as well. That's why I think I'll enjoy this. We'll only
Yeah.
start with the one Supreme Council. So, and the biggest thing I think the certainly the thing we discussed the most, and we even talked to Vic about, is what difficulty level to choose. Because I think naively people coming into this game are going to think, oh, it's 2 humans against 1 AI. Like that's going to be, even on extreme, it should be a slaughter. Well, you probably haven't played Advanced Tactics Gold then, because Vic gives a lot of. His AI is brutal, and I think that on hard and extreme they get some pretty severe advantages, and to the point where we were debating originally between hard and extreme, and we sent an email to Vic like, "Oh, do you have any thoughts?" And he said, "I would do either hard or regular."
He actually said, I think it was, he said, I would strongly advise you to do regular. And if you're feeling really adventurous, go to hard.
So I was kind of pushing that one. I thought that it just hurts my pride too much to admit that 2 of us together can't take on 1 regular AI.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you.
So,
And if we go down in a flaming wreck, that's just what's going to happen.
yeah, it's all the more amusing for the people watching, I think. So
It's funny because when we've been talking, like there's been that degree of let's make sure we don't embarrass ourselves.
yeah, well, it's going to happen, but we're just trying to minimize it.
Yeah. So this one here, when we look at it, these moons are always 37 by 13. Wow, that's hot.
That's too hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The temperature impacts your city happiness, so we do have to be a bit careful with that.
Mm-hmm.
So the moon will always just be this size. That's going to be the actual size of the moon when we're playing it, which is just 37 by 13.
So I think we should re-roll this one, though. I kind of would like... Do you have any preference as far as temperature goes? Do you want something that could be pretty cold like this?
Yeah, I don't mind cold. It's I've even found that if you've got the temperature sort of around that like that there, you'll sometimes even get lakes, the frozen lakes, which is quite cool.
Yeah,
on the
that is
moons.
cool. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm happy to go with a frozen temperature. Absolutely.
I have no objections to this one if you want to push on.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That looks good.
Yeah, all right. Geology. It was pretty early. I don't know what 0.7 billion years means in terms of moon life, but
These tend to only tend to have mountains and oh, that's interesting. So we've got a big. Could you just zoom in there a second?
yeah,
Okay, we've got
it's kind of
yeah, we've got like that's like a massive crater that that area there with the that's so it goes from the outside down into it. Actually, that's beautifully modelled, isn't it? Really, when you look at that, like that's actually quite interesting. Having on the actual other planets, what are they called? They're not cuttings. I forget what they're called, and whatever it is anyway. Where you've sort of got like not a cliff face, but it's a hard slope. And so if you're fighting up the slope, you've got a disadvantage. If you're fighting down the slope, there's no advantage.
Oh, does he actually model it? Does he actually model an upslope and a downslope?
Yes, yeah. And
no
so
way. I did not know that. This is escarpment, right? Something like that?
Escarpment, yes, yes. And so if you're on the up area of an escarpment, you can defend well against the down area.
Huh. That is amazing. I did not know that.
If you're on the down... There's no advantage to attack down the escarpment, though, but there's certainly a disadvantage to attack up the escarpment.
Huh.
So, yeah, I did some experimenting with it because I was pretty interested in how it was actually done. But I've never seen on the maps the escarpments actually form craters like this, that's quite interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you want to do this, or should we roll through a few of them?
No, let's go through roll a few, I guess.
Okay.
There's caverns, not caverns,
oh, wow,
canyons.
I don't like this one. It's too much mountain.
No. We'll veto that one. The mountains are really hard to get across.
Mm-hmm.
Like really hard.
Yeah. Worse than forest, I would say.
Yes, absolutely.
Like
at least forest, you can actually, like, they don't take much to build a road through a forest, but across a mountain just costs a fortune. So there's another massive, big escarpment in there as well, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of strange that we're getting either 100% or like 30% mountain, which hasn't been a middle ground yet.
Let's go for 6% mountains.
Okay, 4%. Let's do it. Let's take a look at what we got then. This one's escarpments all over.
Yeah. That's interesting with the escarpments. So that's going to be a very interesting little ridge line that's been modelled through the escarpments there.
Yeah.
That's actually quite an interesting map.
Well,
where's the mountains?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right
here.
4%.
This is
okay, on the edge of the escarpment. There we go. That's interesting.
One right there, 2 there, maybe a third. I don't know if that's mountain or not, but that one at least.
That again is really a fascinating map because it looks like the mountains, as you say, are on top of the escarpment. So that would be a very strong.
How do you view this? I was viewing it backwards then. I thought that this was which side is the upside?
It goes up into it. So if it's going into it, so see how it's slightly lighter color than what's down below it.
Yeah.
The top of the mountain.
I see. So this is like the plateau, and this is the bottom.
Yes.
I see it now. Okay. Very good.
And so it goes up into its own hex. So the higher point is inside the hex.
That's funny. I kind of viewed the shadow coming from the different direction. So I was viewing this as a depression. I don't know. 2D is tough.
I wasn't sure actually, and so I did some experimenting. I'm just now going thinking if I got that around the right way, but I'm pretty sure I have. I'm just looking at the mountains.
Well, now I'm seeing it that way. Since you've described it to me that way, I'm now seeing it that way. But it might be one of those things where you see it whatever way you think it might be. So, I don't know.
But yeah, because you got a group. I'm just pointing to the group in the very middle of the map where there's those 3 mountains across the edge of the escarpment. So that'd be high points on the actual.
Yeah, that does make sense to me. I was actually wondering why the mountains were in the crater. So that makes sense. Yeah.
And the actual little craters we see there don't actually have any bearing on this at all. Now, the biosphere is always going to be nothing. Oh, there we go. We can now really see the escarpments.
Yeah.
So.
Nice little. It's interesting.
Yeah.
This will be a tight little map. Huh.
It will. Yeah, it will. So there's nothing you can never get. It's always going to be lifeless.
Sorry, I re-rolled it, but I don't think it's even going to change anything.
Oh, the desert's changed.
Oh yeah, okay. So the desert's changed a little bit.
Yep, which is fine. I mean, they can be hard as well.
Okay.
Or hardish.
You want to keep this one?
Yep, that's fine. Yeah. Okay, now it's going to be black. So at this point, what's going to happen is Tortuga will now start his turn, and so we'll probably close off what I'm recording here. Actually, we'll just keep on going.
But first, we should decide how much population do we want to be on the planet, because this will dictate if there's any ruins or stuff like that.
The more ruins, the easier it's going to be for us, I think. So yeah, let's keep on going.
By the way, it does say zones populated, so we will know how many miners there will be, I suppose. So this is 2?
That's true. Yeah. Hang on, no, that does change a bit, I think. 45. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's 7 zones though. But this is before the collapse, so I don't actually know how many it'll be after. Wow.
Yeah.
65 and 8 zones.
That's actually great. There'd be a lot of ruins there.
Okay, let's do this then, just because.
Yep.
Looks good. And I think this is the last step, is the apocalypse. So this is okay. Well, only 0.1 million are left. Yikes.
There's a lot of raiders on the planet as well, like in comparison, scavengers and raiders.
Mm-hmm. No, I think the continue from here does take me to my turn. So if there was ever a place.
That is one thing we do have to start, actually. If you don't mind, just starting the start of your turn, and then I'll bow out of the actual recording. But we have to figure out, just so make sure we don't choose the same icon, unless we can just do it.
It was the icon first. That's right. So yeah, then we can start the game, and I've never done the multiplayer start, so okay. Oh, good. It gave us a ton of icons. Do you want to lay claim to any of them?
No, I just want to make sure I just don't choose whatever one you're going to go with.
I like this one. I like my little castle. Castle Tortuga.
Okay. All right. Well, look, I'll bow out here and then let you continue.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, I'm really excited, Das. It was Das's idea, so all credit to him for proposing this.
Well, we've been talking about this since I think it was November. We were, and because you asked if I'd be interested in actually playing another Advanced Tactics Gold match. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, Shadow Empire is just around the corner. So then we thought, okay, well, let's actually, when Shadow Empire comes out, let's actually have a crack at that. So here we are.
I'm going to choose this color scheme, by the way. Just I'm letting
okay,
you
that's
know.
the opposite of what I'll be choosing. So I'll be going reds and oranges.
Okay, good. That's great.
And because your symbol is the turtle, isn't it? So,
yeah, turtle.
I think we would have gone the fist next to the one that you had there. It's turtle.
I would love to. I wonder if he'll allow us to eventually import our own symbols or something. Because I don't know. Well, it's just a minor thing, but it would be really cool to just put my own little icon there.
I actually tried modding it.
Yeah, and any success or no?
I think I actually put my own names in for these symbols, and they didn't show up. So I'm assuming that I'd need to sort of experiment a bit more with it. There must be like a list of them somewhere that they then reference, but you could rename them. But then, of course, you would still see what you see. You wouldn't have mine.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yep, because it would.
Blindside.
Yeah, I don't know how that would all sort of work. Yeah, that's a good question though, because I did actually try to put my own symbol in. About a week or so back, I wanted to just experiment and see what it was like, and it didn't actually take. Not without the actual numbers or the names that were actually in there. And so I just got rid of them. So look, I'll bow out now, and I'll wait until I get the email, and I'll leave you to it.
Okay, all right, Das. Well, thanks a lot.
Okay, I'll wait. Look forward to actually getting my turn. See ya.
Welcome everyone to the start of a new gameplay series on Shadow Empire. This is actually a continuation of the setup video that DasTactic and I did together, because this will be a multiplayer series with DasTactic. It's going to be co-op focused. It's basically a 2-on-1, us against an AI on hard difficulty, which we've been cautioned by Vic, the developer, may be more than we can handle. So it'll be pretty exciting. If you want to see the planet and all that develop, just go back to the setup video. What do I want to call my... I could give a name that DasTactic wouldn't recognize, but I got to think about this for a second. I come into the video unprepared. What the heck do I want to do for my name? Well, I'm not feeling too creative right now. I'm just going to go with something simple like the Tortugan Dynasty. And for title, I do like to vamp this up again. High Lord and Ruler. Just because it's very democratic. Always very democratic. The colors I've already chosen, just to make sure DasTactic didn't take them. We already went with our little thing here, and I believe I'm going to have to enter a password here. Whoop, nope. Okay, great cities were destroyed. Okay, well, let's figure out what do I want our government to be. Well, knowing that we are going to be going up against a 1 AI pretty quickly, I am almost tempted to do more of an enforcement playthrough here. But I just can't bring myself to do it, so we're going to go with government. I'm also going to go with mind here, and I think we'll go with meritocracy. It's just the kind of the standard affair, the standard Tortugan way of doing things. Okay, so we have a chance to log in here. This is probably where I need to put my password, so I will cut away for just a second while I put my password in, and then we'll get back to it. And just like that, we're done. We're ready to go. The Tortugan Dynasty Round 1. Let's see. This will be so interesting. We have no idea where we're going to start. I really liked the moon we generated, so it'll be very interesting. They're like, where in with the escarpments and the mountains? Where do we land? Some ascension. Some subjects cheer your ascension, but not all. A new Zeitgeist wanders the land. This is research bonus points. Okay, we'll try to take advantage of that. Ancient Archives, one of the best. Oh, that's a great card. We'll be 1 fate point away from getting it. We also have Fat Merchant, which is New Casino. That's another great one. Militia Loss of Faith is actually one of the ones I feel is not too punishing for the fate points. I will gladly take that. A good start so far. Okay, and then we want an Ascension speech. Looks like we are down in the bottom here. Let's see, Ascension speech, do we want... Ooh, this is interesting. This is a variety. Usually oh, God. So my Supreme Command Council, apparently he doesn't like mind. God. Which is exactly the thing I went with. You'd think that you'd hire somebody to be on your Supreme Council who wasn't diametrically opposed to the way you've already set up the empire, but nope, not in our case. It's okay, we can... You know what, I'm just going to... He's going to have to eat the malice. And I think I'm going to go ahead and set up an economic council. Now, in such a small world, I really think that you could get it. You could possibly have some real big benefits to doing a military council first. But that's just not the way Tortuga's brain functions. So I will go ahead and recruit if I can. Yeah, we're done with our decisions, so we do have enough points to recruit a junior.
Yes, sir.
Just so we have some other opportunities, some other choices, I should say, for the economic council, which we'll get next turn. And let's take a look at where we are. And I guess let's just start expanding. This is so exciting. We could meet Das at any moment, or we could meet the other major. Uh-oh. Okay. Well, we've met a major. This is going to be interesting. This name, Hochland, may change. This could be Das. It could, on the other hand, not be Das. And I don't know how to play this. I have to kind of choke him off. I have to choke him off because this could be not Das, in which case I really need to constrict his area as much as possible in the beginning. In fact, I'm going to get this unit, which is going to go, oh god, even further. I don't know if that's friendly or not. Okay, so we also want to expand other places. We do have I'm going to send my corps this way so that we do garrison this border with a pretty fierce defense, and my militia are all going to head off other places. So 1 and 2, and then we had 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so yeah, that's sufficient to me. We do have another one. I think that we will put 2 in here. I mean, I could get further by not doing this, but the thing is, I don't know if this is Das. If it's not Das, we're preventing the AI from expanding, which is good. So I'm going to put 2 there, and then with the very few number of militia that we have left, we can start exploring the rest of the world. Just go this way, and we know that there's some marauders here. I'm still going to go in. We knew that because the zone of control didn't expand that way. How many other units do I have? Just 1. Okay, we have exactly 1 unit. Which way do we want to go? North? I think not. Let's head this way because, oh boy, we got more marauders here. Because it didn't expand. So, and then we'll get our infantry soldiers at arms. Let's see what kind of units that we have. What are soldiers at arms? They have slug throwers and enviro suits. Okay, so enviro suits are going to give us a small defensive bonus. We could, I mean, technology-wise, I don't think we have the means to do anything but that right now. Yeah, we're starting with no control of the technology development at all. That'll change when we get an economic council. Let's see how we're doing as far as assets go. So let's move over. Food is dropping like a rock. That's probably going to be priority number 1. We do have a dome farm here. I think that we'll try to set up another dome farm immediately. I don't think we can set it up here because there's already one. So, already one present. Did we see water? We do. So, probably what I'm going to want to do is build a dirt road over there because we're going to want water soon. But you know what? Let's wait 1 turn on that. Let's just wait 1 turn and see how we're doing on water. We probably won't need that because I want to spend the industrial points on the food, but let's go ahead and build the food here. Let's go ahead and get the dome going. We're gonna need 2 turns for that, and I think it's gonna be with 50 industrial points per turn, 100 metals. So we barely have enough to do that, but we can do that, and then very easily the turn after that we will have our water, which we'll get, assuming of course that we aren't invaded by this army. So if we do that, so I don't know. This must be the AI though, because they've already gone. So I think this was a good call. We can try to box them in, and then what I'd like to do, if possible, is actually start to do some positive diplomacy on them, which we cannot do yet, but we'll at least send a spy to them, because they could just immediately. Oh man, so it's almost impossible for us to do, and I guess this is going to take 4 political points, which we don't have. Okay, so we can't do that yet. we're just strapped for political points to start. Well, this is a very, very precarious start. I don't know how long this series will go. We may have to just retire and let Das try to figure it out, try to win the day. Because, yeah. Now, let's see. How wide is the world? So there it is. There's plenty of space here. We just got... I think this is pretty unlucky that we started right next to him. Now, I'm going to cut away here, but I'm going to continue this video because we've only gone, what, 8 minutes? Just the turn is going to have to be processed, obviously, over multiple sessions because I need to send the save file to Das and then he'll get back to me. Is there anything else I need to know or anything else I want to do? I'm getting very nervous. Do we want my advisor to support anybody? No, not initially. Yeah, we don't have the political points to attach them anyways, so just pray that our troops hold on, and hopefully we'll just see how things go. Okay, here we go. Well, I'm glad I just decided to kind of pause and check. We need machinery to build. So we need 2 total, which means we're going to have to go to the market and buy a grand total of 2. I also we might as well see what it'll cost to build a... Yeah, it's going to take 2. So we need to build total of 4 machinery to get those 2 things stabilized. Let's go and just trade for it now. We'll buy... Well, they have exactly 4 machinery available. We're going to buy all 4. And there it is. That's most of our treasury gone. And I think... So the good news is we started right next to machinery, or to ruins. They have 9.4k, 9,400 scavenging capability. Basically going to give us access to metal, rare metal, and oil, which says it's a good thing that we can start getting our metal up, assuming that we don't find any other metal deposits, which is pretty unlikely. So we'll have some source of metal, and excuse me, with that we can actually get industrial, the industry level 1, which actually requires a ton. I think it's 1,500 units of metal. So okay, but that should be everything. So I'll cut here.